Good morning. Salute to all the Patreon members. I want to thank you guys for your support, all the subscribers, the new viewers. Thank you for tuning in. If you guys can do me a favor, check out the links in the description box below for the Facebook page and the Patreon page. I will make another Patreon video tonight. We have right here, a post that I saw on Facebook. I blurred out her name because I don't know if she wants her name out there like that. She has over 11,000 followers. This post right here is making its ways around different groups. I went to her page. I don't know if she's being honest about her story. She has a couple of posts where, with stories like this. There's another post that she made talking about how she set up cameras in a guy's house. And I don't know if it's true or not. Her status on her profile page says married. So I don't know if this she just makes up little stories for clicks and views and conversations, but for the sake of this video, let's take this story seriously. All right. So this woman right here says men don't want single mothers for anything more than recreational use. This is the sad truth in my reality. Hear me out. I went on a date with this really great guy. We had an amazing conversation and we laughed and joked for hours. We found out we are both very family orientated. Excuse me. We both found out we are both I can't even read today. We found out we are both very family oriented and have many of the same goals and direction in life. Things took a turn for the worse the moment he found out I had a kid. His entire energy shifted. He told me I am to be used for fun only, but he will still continue to get to know me just in case he changes his mind later. He said I will have to work harder and do more to compare with the childless women in his life. I really need advice on what to do. I don't want to lose a high value man just because I made one mistake in my past. I don't like the wording of that. So the sister right here, let's help her out. Let's assume that she's being honest and this isn't a made up story. Let's help her out. So she's not a bad looking woman. Okay. I don't know how old she is. I don't know where she lives. I think she lives somewhere in Illinois. I don't know. I think that's what her profile said. But let's help her out. Assuming this is true, I don't know if anybody on a first date would be this blunt, right? But if he did, salute to him if it's true. All right. First and foremost, I don't know how guys make it to the first date without finding out that this woman is a single mother. How do you go on a date and not know that the woman you're going on a date with has children? Unless it was some blind date. Even if it was a blind date, you ask the person, okay, does she have kids or not? This is the second time this week somebody mentioned that they went on a date with somebody and didn't know they had kids until throughout the middle of the date. A woman said this, and then a man said this a few days ago. I'm like, how did you not know? Okay. So with that being said, and I can't speak for all men, so let me speak for myself and maybe other men can relate to this. When I see a woman who's a single mother, right, and she's on the dating scene, not a widow, because a widow's somebody totally different, okay? Widow, you were married or you were committed to a man, whether you were married or not, and then, you were with a man who was blue collar, white collar, right, or an entrepreneur in the field, right, a legitimate business, and didn't really go to the underworld in order to become legit. I'm talking about somebody who was a square his whole life, right? Blue collar, white collar entrepreneur. And either you were married or not, you were committed to this man, and, health issues, a tragic accident. That's totally different. I'm talking about you have a child with somebody and the father is still alive. Let me tell you how I view it. When I view a woman who's a single mother, To me, it shows that, you're not loyal. You're selfish and you're not loyal. Most of the time, when you ask women, what happened between you and the father, they always give some BS excuse, right? We've heard it many times. A lot of women, they lie about what happened between them and their exes, all right? Most of the time, these women describe the men, the father of their children, as incompetent. And then you ask the question, why would you have a baby by somebody who's incompetent? And it's the same old excuse. Well, I was young, I didn't know any better. Okay, where's your father? Right? In today's society, in this culture, who's deemed capable or competent enough to be a parent or not? Right? So for selfish reasons, you chose somebody who was incompetent to have a child with instead of protecting yourself. And the thing about it is it gets to a point where a lot of women, like, the more incompetent somebody is, the more likely they're going to have a child with this person, because an incompetent person can't really put up a fight in court. An incompetent person doesn't have the money or the resources to battle or to win in a custody battle. Not that it matters anyway, right? You could have the money and the resources to prove yourself in a custody battle and still lose. But an incompetent male doesn't really have any say when it comes to the decisions that are being made over a child's future, right? An incompetent man, a woman will take another man's child out the state if she deems him incompetent. It's like, okay, not only is the court going to back me up, a lot of women are selfish. They feel like, hey, you know what? A man doesn't have any say if I gave birth to a child, even if he helps. Of course, if he's the father, it takes two to make a child. But a woman feels like, if I gave birth to this child, no man has any say over the future or the decisions that are being made about this child. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll give you, I have enough, I'm a decent enough person to tell you what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to ask you if it's okay to do this. Right? You have women out here that, even in relationships, I know you guys could probably relate. In relationships today, a lot of women, they don't talk about family. They don't have aspirations of being a wife or building with a man to build a family. It's always, when are you going to give me a baby? Baby this, baby that. I want a baby. And it sounds selfish. And this is what you see right here. This is the results of it. So you ask about the father, and it's always something to make her look like a victim. You had plenty of suitable men that were well-to-do, that were around, that probably wanted you. But as we see more than often, you chose somebody that was kind of dusty, right? And somebody who's incompetent and dusty, this man has no say over my child, right? A lot of women, they lie at the drop of their hat about their exes. Oh, he's a sperm donor. Oh, he's a cheater. He's this, he's that, he's this. Was the man alive? Yeah. Fellas, if you're going to deal with somebody who's a single mother, which you shouldn't, but if you're going to deal with somebody who's a single mother, you need a request to speak to the father. If she says no, drop her and get another woman, preferably someone who is childless. You ask to speak to the father, like, hey, if we're going to date, I need to speak to the father. For what? What you need to speak to him for? Well, if I'm going to be around, if I'm dating you, I'm around his child, right? You give me consent to date you while you have a child that isn't mine. So I need to get consent from the father also. I need to meet her father and let him know, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do for a living. I'm going on a date with, the mother of your child, right? Is it cool? And I also want to know, how did things end between the two of you? Because if she's lying after you get the rundown from the father, then it's like, hey, you know what? You told me something different. I don't want to continue this. They don't want you to hear what the father has to say about how things broke up, because then he's going to tell you the truth. He's going to be honest. A man will say, hey, you know what? I was a dog. You know what I'm saying? I was young, wild, trying to have sex with anything I could, even when I had a good woman by my side. So, yeah, I don't deserve to be with a woman like that. And, it sucks that a child came out of this, and I still, even when my child was born in this world, I still didn't want to be a faithful man. Then I'm like, okay, all right, respect. But at the same time, didn't really seem like it was as serious because no marriage came out of it. It's still a child born out of wedlock. I'm not saying to date a single mother. I'm not saying not to date a single mother. What I'm saying is, you always need to get the other side and introduce yourself to the other parent. But when I see this, right, it shows me that there's a single mother. You like, I don't date single mothers. But if a woman approaches me, I literally had a woman approach me not too long ago, and I I never did anything with her. I never met up with her. We were texting back and forth, but I was just like, look, in back and forth text messages, I was just like, hey, look, I don't want anything serious from you. We can have sex or whatever. We can hook up maybe once, twice, or whenever it might, whatever. But I'll never take you seriously because you have two kids, which we never did anything. I never met up with her. I just decided to block her yesterday because I don't date women with kids, but I kept it real honest with her. Right. And I told her, she was just like, well, why, why do you find fault in me for having kids? So I asked her, I said, how long was you with the father for? She was with the father for like 14 years, 15 years. I'm like, how many kids you got? Two. And she told me the ages. I'm like, so why you leave him? She said, we grew apart. I said, ma'am, you're disloyal. You're not loyal. You're not loyal. You left. She like the father had a business and she was helping him out with the business. I'm like, did he put his hands on you? Did he disrespect you? No, no, we just grew apart. Well, why do I want to be with somebody? Why do I want to be the future him? I don't want to be him. Then some women feel like, well, I'll go make a blended family with somebody else who has a child. Then when you come to him telling him why you and your ex broke up, it's going to remind him of his situation with his ex. Like, damn, that's the same shit, the same lie that my ex is coming up with, right? About me, when really she did this, that, and the third in the relationship. And some guys are just like, hey, look, man, if this goes somewhere, I don't want to go through all this again. And I don't, I some guys just think like that. Salute the Nest Man 99. As a man who's childless that don't have any kids, first and foremost, if you say you have kids, I'm just like, hey, no, thank you. If I do decide to do something with you, it's like it's only fun, right? It's nothing serious, and I have like a one child limit. It's never serious. If I'm in a relationship with you and you have a child, if you won't have children, right? There is no children. It's a child, and a child. I could take a woman seriously if because I dated a woman who was a widow because the husband lost his life in an unfortunate situation. This man, like, he walked to 7-Eleven at night to get some snacks, right? There wasn't really anything in the house. Like, hey, I need to go to the grocery store tomorrow. I got a sweet tooth. I just want to get some snacks and maybe like a little candy bar or whatever. So he walked to 7-Eleven on the sidewalk in the middle of the night, and a drunk driver uh, just was out of control, out of the mind, driving drunk, drove up on the sidewalk and ran him over, and that unfortunately it killed him. I felt bad, right? Because that's a totally different situation. And then she was talking about the struggles of trying to take the guy to court, and she wanted justice for her husband, but this was a Caucasian male, and the woman and her husband were Latino, and they only gave the Caucasian male like it was either 3 or 5 months, something like that. I was like, wow. She was like, yeah, I tried to hire another lawyer, and then by that time it's just money's being spent, and it's like, what can I do? And then she was upset about the justice system. That's something totally different. But if your baby daddy is alive and well, right? You should have worked things out with this person. First of all, y'all should have gotten married. And you can't fact check and verify if a woman's telling the truth. If you do, like, you only can fact check and verify two ways: by speaking to the father, or if they were married, because then she can get that, well, there was infidelity there. Then you can get that off if there was proof, and that holds grounds for divorce by the courts, right? Yeah, I had to hire a PI, and the PI, tracked him down. He was messing around with other women, and this, that, and the third. So I wanted a divorce, right? And I'm in the middle of that. I'm in the middle of that. I can't, I remember when Kevin Samuels was alive, his videos are still up. He was talking about, telling women, it's just like, okay, did he apologize? Right. So now you've broken up a family, and what you got? You're gonna bring your child into a new relationship with a new man, have her around some other guy, and what if he cheats on you? Right? He always pushed like working things out with your man. Not saying it's okay for somebody to cheat on you, but I'm kind of in the middle of that. I'm in the middle. I don't. I'm not for or against divorcing somebody because that man cheated on you, knowing men's nature. Uh, I'm just kind of neutral. I don't have anything positive or negative to say about it. But if you did pay for a private investigator and did prove in a marriage that, hey, this man is disrespecting me by sleeping with other women, then hey, I don't have anything negative to say. But when y'all just boyfriend and girlfriend, you had a child out of wedlock, that leaves me to suspect that, hey, you know what? You probably just wanted a kid, and as soon as you got your kid, you up and left. And then now you want to bring somebody else in who has no say over you're a man like who's not the disciplinary of that person's child because it's not your kid. Not to say that it needs to be corporal punishment, it needs to be physical or anything like that, but just laying down the law in the house, not being a pushover, being stern, that can cause problem and conflict. Like, hey, man, you don't need to speak to her at all about nothing. You tell me about it, then I'll deal with her. It was like, well, you're being real soft at dealing with things with her. And it's not even your child, right? Disrespecting you in your home, disrespecting you, right? There's a lot of issues there. So if you have somebody who's telling you like, hey, you're gonna have to work harder by proving to me, he's not wrong. As a matter of fact, I wish more men would say this and be vocal about this, because women don't know how easy they got it. See, women, it's no big deal when they're young, they have a kid, and they're like, oh, I just have a kid. I just want to have a kid for myself. And, you know, basically, I want to raise this kid to think like me, do as I say, and not have the male influence over my child's life, right? Their whole thought process, how they carry themselves, how I dress them, all the decision about this child is going to be made by me. I don't want a man to have no decision or no reign over my child, right? Then now you want to get with somebody else to take care of you and your child, and it's a thankless job. Hell, men, it's a thankless job being a woman's boyfriend who's childless. Let's keep it real. It's a thankless job to be a woman's boyfriend today, and even if she doesn't have any kids. The amount of work you put in, because a lot of women today feel like, well, shit, I don't need to prove myself to no man, right? In a relationship, both parties need to prove themselves to each other. If you're dealing with somebody, and if there's one person in a relationship that doesn't really seem to need to prove themselves to the other, then that's not going to work at all. Most women today feel like, I don't need to prove myself to no man, whether they have a kid or not. You say something slick to your dude, and it was unnecessary. You know, it was rude, disrespectful. He calls you out on it, checks you for it, and you don't feel like you need to apologize or prove yourself that, hey, you know what? I'm in the doghouse now, and I need to work at gaining his trust back. Most women don't care about this shit. They don't they don't feel the need to apologize to no man, to prove themselves to no man. So now you have somebody, a childless woman feels that way. Imagine a woman with a child carrying on that same attitude, right? So right here, he's not wrong. Like, hey man, you're gonna have to prove yourself to me. You could, like, I mean, shit, we can have fun or whatever. I don't even think, like, if you have to say that to somebody, I don't even think it's worth um coming over, or her coming over to your spot just to have fun, because fun can lead to a pregnancy. Irresponsible. Here you got one guy who's not really not being safe. And then you got another woman who's not on birth control. Then you have this happen. Then now it's like, and then you've heard me talk about this before, about the difference between a woman who's raising, let's say it's just somebody with one child, right? There's a difference between a woman who's raising a boy versus a woman who's raising a girl who has a daughter. Totally different. I've met women who are raising their boy. They kind of spoil him, make sure he has the best. right? Cooks for him, cleans, you know, does everything for him. Versus a woman like, you know, some women with boys, I'm not saying all, some women with boys, it's like, okay, I can see you, but I can't bring you around my child. I can't bring you around my son. You know, we're gonna have to date for this long before I can bring you around my son. You see what I'm saying? I've been around women who had daughters, they didn't care. I met them on a Wednesday. By Thursday, they want me to come over, and their daughter is right there. Yeah, let's go upstairs to the bedroom. They lead you to the bedroom. It's like, damn, your 4-year-old is right there. You just met her. At the same time you just met her, you met her daughter, right? And already she wants to bring you to her bedroom to have sex while the daughter is in the next door over. I'm like, damn, is she doing this for me? She must be doing this for everybody. And that's very irresponsible to bring just random guys like that around your daughter. I'm not saying that's all women with daughters, but in my life, my experience, a lot of these women, the way they treat their daughters is sad. I've been around a woman, it's like she had a daughter, little girl hungry, 5, 6 year old, little girl hungry, wants some food. She telling her man, go in there and make you something in. I'm like, damn, this is a 6 year old. She could burn herself in that kitchen. 5, 6 years old. Like, I'm not saying that's all single mothers. That's just from my experience, what I've seen. Right? The mentality of modern relationships is out of control. That's where these females get the idea to sleep around. They watch their moms sleep around, so it becomes normal in their minds. Yeah, because it's normal in their minds because the way that mother-daughter relationship from a single mother, it's like it's a lot of neglect and trauma there. Whereas the boys, it's a little bit different. The boys is almost like they treat him like he's the man of the household. Like, I can't bring you around until the man of the household approves of you. The daughter's like, hey, don't worry about her. Just come on over. The daughter talking crazy. She feeding her anything, just feeding her candy all day. And you walk past the daughter's room, it looks like shit. It's like, damn, you're not going to. Stains all in the carpet, food left out in the kitchen. Look like the pots and plates had just been sitting in the sink for days. Stove, real crusty. Like, you're going to need a wire brush to get that shit up off the stove. Crib smell like weed. Like, send your daughter to school, her hair and her backpack smelling like weed. The boys, it's like, nah, I've seen a difference. I remember one time, like, I was messing around with this chick. She had a son, and then uh she dropped her son off at school right before he got out. I forgot what it was, but she told him, don't do this or something like that. And he was like, no, I am gonna do it. This was like an 8-year-old. She was like, no, don't do it. She's like, no, I don't care. I am gonna do it. So then she looked at me in embarrassment, like, okay, have a good day at school. It's like, okay, damn, that's the man in her life, right? But with daughters, it's like, had that same situation been between a mother and a daughter, man, that mother would have cursed her daughter out. I saw this video on Instagram the other day. Hold on, where's that video? Do I still got it? Yeah. Damn, I should upload it and play it for y'all on here. Listen to this. Hold on. Just listen. I'll play the audio real quick. Hold on. Listen. This is a woman. She's on her phone, like thotting it up on IG Live or just basically just, taking a selfie video of herself playing with her hair. And her daughter says, "Ugh, you ugly." Watch this and listen to the mother's response. Hold on. Listen to this.
Y'all, I thought I was cute. I started to record and my daughter called me ugly. Watch till the end. Ugly. Watch your motherfucking mouth. Get the fuck out my goddamn room. Your little grown motherfucking ass. Now you fucking ugly.
Well, like who wants to deal with that? Should I play it for y'all? That's a woman with a daughter. I'm telling y'all, it's a huge difference. Hold on, let me play the audio again. Let me play the audio again.
It was cute. I started to record and my daughter called me ugly. Watch till the end. Ugly. Watch your motherfucking mouth. Get the fuck out my goddamn room. Your little grown motherfucking ass. Now you fucking ugly.
Man, first, all right, in the video, like she just like, recording herself in a video, posing like she cute or whatever. The daughter says ugly, probably just playing around. She smacked her and then cursed her out just like that. I bet she don't even talk to her ops like that. I bet she not even running down on her ops like that. It's uncomfortable. You see that, I'm like, damn, this how you talk to your daughter like that? I can see if you corrected her, like, hey, don't say that. But it's like, no, watch your mother, get the out my room. You effing up. You supposed to build and have a relationship with that? She got scolded for telling the truth. These females' brain are just gone. Not one piece of morals. What are you supposed to do with that? Man, I remember there was one chick, she had a daughter, like, I'm messing around with her, and the daughter cursing her out. And she not really doing anything about it. There was another chick, she had a daughter that, we go out to the mall. Her daughter just running around, touching stuff falling off the shelves, breaking stuff. People think it's mine. I'm like, man, get your daughter. But I was young then, so I'm like, man, I'm never dealing with women with children no more. I'm not doing it. This one woman, man, she told me, I asked her about her and her ex. I'm like, damn, what happened to the father? Why did y'all break up? She said that when she was in high school, her baby daddy was like maybe 6 or 7 years older than her. All right. That's a charge. That's a charge right there, right? Where was your father at when a grown ass man was messing around with you while you were in high school? She didn't have her father in her life. Why? Because the mother decided to have a child with somebody who was schizophrenic. In the moment she found out that she was pregnant, she told this schizophrenic man that she didn't want to be with him. So she just used him, somebody who's incompetent, purposely to have a child so that it's like, hey, you know what? Don't even worry about it. I don't need you no more. I just wanted a child. That's it. So this man attempted suicide after that. But so she didn't have a father in her life at all. Just a mother, just a wild ass alcoholic mother, allowing this to happen. So she would leave school, go over to his apartment where he was living with a whole bunch of other guys. Right? It's the party house. People smoking, drinking, partying, and then you off in his room just having sex. Every time you leave out of school. She ends up pregnant. She tells him, he's just like, all right, let me go ahead and take you over to this abortion clinic and I'll pay for it. She tells him, no, I'm keeping it. So he's trying to convince her, like, no, let's just come on. We're not even really together like that. It's just like, well, let's just go get this done. No, I'm keeping it for selfish reasons, right? So you chose meager benefits from the government than a man to build with in a household, to build a functioning household with, right? So then he's like, okay, if you're going to keep it, all right, let's work through this as a couple and be a family then. And she said no. Selfish. For years, this man was trying to get back with the woman that he was sleeping with that had no regard of his feelings or how he thinks, you know what I'm saying, about bringing a child into this world. You wanted this child to come into this world for selfish reasons. Why? Because you just want a kid. That's it. You don't care whose lives you ruin. You don't care about, how your child is going to view the father, how you view the father. You purposely chose somebody who was incompetent. And then when I met her, she's like, yeah, he's just a sperm donor. I'm like, birds of a feather flock together. You chose him. If he a sperm donor, you was the idiot looking for a sperm donor. I'm like, don't clown him. Don't disrespect him. Because what does that make you? What does that make you? You had all these suitable men out here who's doing well for themselves, blue collar, white collar, doing a damn thing out here, and you chose somebody who is in between jobs, living in a fucking dirty apartment with like 4 or 5 other people, and they just partying, smoking, drinking every single day. What does that say about you? Well, I was young at the time. Well, give him the same grace then. Because whatever you think of him, I think that way about the both of y'all, tell you the truth. Because I'm not here because I take you seriously, right? I'm here because you got that ass, you got them titties, that mouth. That mouth is on point, right? The jobs you give with your mouth, deserves a raise, but still, I don't look at you that way. I don't take you seriously. Even if she said good things about him, I still wouldn't take you seriously because if he's that good, then why'd you leave? Because you're selfish and you're disloyal. You don't want a man's influence and leadership to reign your household. You want a come and go dad. You want somebody, hey, I need a free sperm donor that I can get not only meager benefits from the government, but I get your check, right? And I give you visitation rights on top of that. All that in love, and you the man, just you the one for me, you my soulmate, all that bullshit. It don't mean a damn thing once these women end up pregnant. Yeah, if I say this bullshit to you, you probably gonna get weak enough to nut in her, and then out comes a kid. Now you the sperm donor that gets visitation rights, whether you're married or not, especially in the black household. You know what the stats are: 20% of black women will ever be married in their lifetime, and only 7% of black marriages last more than 5 years. So once you do it the right way, there's a 93% chance that she's gonna leave your ass anyway. I wonder what the percentage is for a black marriage after 10 years. It ain't even a number. It's a shit emoji. That's what it is. So why, even guys with kids, they still look at it, okay, if I don't have a kid, why do I want to deal with a woman who has a kid? Why would I want to take you seriously? You show nothing but disloyalty and selfishness. That's what it's screaming to me. Even if I do have a kid, and it's like, okay, our kids around about the same age, man, my baby mama's putting me through fucking hell when everything was all good when we were together and I never cheated on her, right? She just turned into Miss Ultimate Bitch the moment she got pregnant. And the reasons you're giving me for you leaving your dude kind of sounds like the same shit she was on, my baby mama was on when we were together. So why do I want to continue going through this shit with you? So, but hey, you know what? That's just me. Um, just because I'm talking don't mean my word is law. There's plenty of guys out here that will deal with a single mother, right? That's why I said in the beginning of the video, I can't speak for all men. I'm just speaking for me. I don't want to lose a high value man just because I made one mistake in my past. So the bond that you had with a father, the child that you had, this is a mistake. So everything that we've been through, that was a mistake. No, it wasn't a mistake. It was meant to be. It was meant to be because other women, young girls who are smart enough, right, can point the finger and look at you and say, "Hey, I don't want to be that right there." The 0.001% of girls in America who actually say, "Hey, no, I want to be a wife and I want a long lasting relationship, at least be together with this man through thick and thin by the time they graduate, right? And they out this house, then I could discover options of being alone or whatever." Yeah, they will look at you and say, "Hey, I don't want to be doing this shit over here." I don't want to be that. That's dysfunctional. Uh, these females' brains are just gone. Not one piece of morals. No female's mouth should be that filthy. That's definitely a mental situation. Leave that monster right there. She's not fit for anything, not even a conversation. Yeah, and I'm tired of hearing about, man, I'm tired of hearing about what women deserve, especially single mothers. No, you got to prove yourself to me. I don't give a fuck who gets offended by it. Men, y'all just gonna have to tell these women, collectively tell these women, like, hey, you got to prove yourself to me. I've already proved myself to you. You know what I'm saying? I approached you. I showed you a good time, right? I told you what career field I'm in, what I'm able to contribute. I've shown you not only masculinity, but leadership, quality, right? My goals. I've shown you kindness. I showed you, hey, I'm marriage minded. I've showed you all these things, right? What you gonna prove to me? Nothing. Well, you want to know something like, come to think about it, we already fucked like 12 times already. I think that's good right there. You know what I'm saying? I think 12 times was enough. I really don't. But that's about the magic number. I've gotten it out of my system. The novelty has worn off already. So, hey, you know what? We're gonna have to end this right here. It's been good. It's been real. All right. You don't feel like I'm anybody to be proving yourself to, and I've already proven myself to you. Well, shit. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the peace sign. See, it's one sided. This goes back to what I was talking about, what 50-50 really means to a lot of women, right? Do I look like somebody who goes 50-50? No, in their minds, I don't want to contribute anything emotionally in a relationship or financially in a relationship or spiritually in a relationship. My mind isn't there. My goal is to get pregnant, right? And then we'll take it from there and see if I still like you after I deliver the baby. And if the relationship doesn't serve me anymore, then I'm gonna take my kid and go. And then she brings that to another relationship. No, thank you. No. Let me tell you, you know, even though there's a lot of guys that will still date a woman with the kid, women out west, they're very lucky because, man, for those that don't know, I lived in Asia for I lived in Asia for 8 years. There's no country in Asia where a man would even consider even touching a single mother. It don't matter how fine you are. You could be young, you know, you could be the baddest. Men won't touch you. It don't matter how fine you are or young you are over in them countries over in Asia. A single mother, they'll never, ever, ever be able to get with another man of their own ever again. At best, they can get with is a foreigner, but then that's risky because the foreigner has a home country he can go to. When a woman decides to become a single mother over in Asia, they're a single mother for life. They would never have intimacy ever again unless they date foreigners, and foreigners come and go. Some foreigners stay, but most of them come and go. But anyways, I'm gonna end this video right here. Uh I think, I think we gave some constructive game. If this is real, because like I said, I went to her page and she has a bunch of weird stories on there. I don't know what's true or just entertainment, but if this is true right here, and this man you went on a date with really said that, then hey, whether you have a child or not, you always, if you dealing with somebody of value, they don't necessarily have to be high value. If you average and you're dealing with an average man, I mean, just the fact that somebody, even if they do want to go half on you, excuse me, if they want to go half with you on bills, that's a blessing. Because a lot of people today are paying 100% of the bills. You got somebody that want to split the bills with you, you should be you should be praising somebody like you in church. If somebody wants to split bills with you and you ain't got to pay 100%, even if that's all they could do. But if you dealing with somebody you deem as high value, man, you always, I don't give a damn if this triggers anybody. You going two people in a relationship, they got to prove themselves to each other. You got to, in order for a relationship to work, two people got to be selfless and they got to prove themselves to each other. Right? You dealing with somebody who's selfish, right? And feel like they don't really got to prove nothing to you, that they just light skinned with a big booty, then hey, man, have your fun and keep it moving. This is just this moment in my this was a layover, right? My destination is over here. I had to make a pit stop right here with you, 2-3 hour layover. Some layovers are 24, 30 hours, depending on how cheap that ticket is, right? But I'm gone on the next flight. My advice is like, hey, man, don't deal with single mothers at all. I mean, there's still feelings and emotions there. The daughter, with the child and her father, the connection there. The mother still got feelings for the guy. You remember that one live stream I did where the Hispanic dude, he did everything for this single mother, and he caught her messing around with the baby daddy, and then he up there crying. I don't know. I think I still got that live stream up. Kicked her out the house. He's like, man, I got all my shit together. I moved her in when she had nothing, her and her daughter. And then this how she gonna do me, go back to the baby daddy and cheat on me with him behind my back. Man, you don't just leave it alone, man. Just leave it alone. I'm over and I'm out. You guys take care. Peace.